Today, I want to challenge the way you think about success. The biggest investment you'll ever make isn't in the stock market. It's not even in real estate. It isn't even in your career. It's in the person looking back at you in the mirror. I'm CJ Everson, and welcome to the Jewish Skeptic. A question. If someone handed you the keys to a company tomorrow and told you that everything you own depended on whether the company succeeded or failed, would you run that company the same way you actually running your life? Sit with it for a second. I think Leon Thomas on Rick Ross's new album accidentally said one of the deepest things I've heard in a long time, y'all. He said, the biggest business you gonna ever run is your life. And most people heard money. But see, I heard responsibility. I heard ownership. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized something. Every single one of us is already a CEO. The only difference is some of us don't realize we're running a company. That company is called you, your life. I think we've been taught to measure success the wrong way. We ask people, what do you do for a living? How much money you make? You know, what kind of car you drive? What neighborhood do you live in? Those aren't bad questions, but they don't tell me whether you're running your life well or not. A business can look successful from the outside and be bleeding money behind closed doors. People do the exact same thing though. Some people have nice cars, nice clothes, nice social media pages, and internally they're exhausted, undisciplined, emotionally unstable, living paycheck to paycheck, constantly reacting instead of leading. That ain't good leadership. That's good marketing. And that's the difference I think people need to realize. Let me ask you another question though. If I brought someone into your office and said, I want you to hire this person to run your company, you'd probably ask them a few questions. How do you handle pressure? How do you make decisions? Do you keep learning? Can people trust you? Do you finish what you start? Now imagine every answer you got back was terrible. You know, I quit when things get hard, or I spend more than I make. I surround myself with people who keep me comfortable instead of making me better. I never read. I avoid difficult conversations. You know, I blame everybody else. Would you hire that person? Of course not. Of course you wouldn't. So here's the uncomfortable part. Why do we let that person run our own life? Businesses perform audits. They don't do it because they hate themselves. They do it because they want to know the truth. What's working? What's losing money? Where are we wasting resources? What's holding us back? When was the last time you audited yourself? Not your bank account. You. Audit your habits. Audit your friendships. Audit your mindset. Audit the way you respond when people or when life don't go your way. Because, bro, like, here's something I learned. You can't improve what you're unwilling to examine. And that's true whether you're running a Fortune 500 company or just trying to become a better human being. Every business has assets and every business has liabilities. Your liabilities aren't just dollars. Your knowledge is an asset. Your discipline is an asset. Your reputation is an asset. Your integrity is an asset. Your ability to stay calm under pressure, that's an asset. Your ability to admit when you're wrong, that's an asset too. But then there are liabilities also. Excuses, procrastination, poor health, consistent negativity, always looking for someone else to blame. Those don't just slow your business down, they quietly bankrupt it. And the scary part, most bankruptcies don't happen overnight. Neither do broken lives. Here's something I don't think we talk about enough though. Every decision you make compounds. People think success happens all at once, but it usually don't. It's like interest, small decisions repeated over and over again. Reading instead of scrolling, walking instead of sitting, saving instead of spending, listening instead of arguing, learning instead of pretending you already know the answer. Those don't feel like big moments, but neither does depositing $10,000 into an investment account until years later. Then everyone calls it success. What they don't see is the thousands of tiny decisions that built it. Now, let me be clear. Life isn't fair, people. Some people start with advantages. Some people start with obstacles. Some people inherit opportunity. Others inherit survival. And I'm not pretending we all begin at the same starting line, because we don't. But whether you started, eventually the decision becomes yours. At some point, you become the CEO. You don't get to choose what a company began. You do get to decide how it's managed from here. And that's where ownership begins. So maybe we need to stop asking one question: how do I make more money? And start asking, am I becoming someone who can responsibly manage more? Because money doesn't fix poor leadership, it exposes it. Power doesn't create character, it reveals it. Success doesn't automatically make people wiser. Sometimes it makes their mistakes bigger. And that's why becoming a better person has to come before becoming a more successful one. Before I leave you though, I want you to think about one thing. Imagine you're an investor and the only company you can invest in is you. You open the reports, you look at the habits, the discipline, the consistency, the relationships, the health, the emotional stability, the willingness to learn, everything. Would you invest? Not because of who you hope you'll be someday, but because of who you actually are today. That's a hard question, but it's an honest one. And sometimes honesty is the beginning of growth, because at the end of the day, the biggest business you'll ever run isn't your LLC. It isn't your corporation. And it definitely ain't your side hustle. It's your life. Run it like it matters, people, because it does. No fear, no dogma. Just clarity. I'll see y'all on the next one. Take care.